wanting to experience more, and knowing that we're not meant to do this alone.
Welcome, everyone. This is episode 6 of Chronicles of the High-Powered Female CEO, and today I am interviewing Christine. Welcome, Christine.
Hi.
So, Christine, let's just drop right in. So, who do people typically know you as?
Okay, so people know me as the owner of a commercial security company, and they also know me as a retreat host. I host retreats for women in business in Costa Rica. And they also know me as a strengths coach. I coach teams and organizations on how it is to leverage their people's strengths in order to achieve their company goals.
This is so cool. So, Christine and I have been friends now for like 6 months or something, right?
Like 9 months.
But who's counting, right? I love it.
Time flies when you're having fun.
I'm often like, how do you do it all? Like, I see everything that you do. And then it's funny, you've reflected the same thing to me. So I guess we're in good company, huh?
Yes, absolutely.
So, Christine, I love to just drop right in and get really real. The intention of these interviews is so that women who are listening, who are working on generating massive success and impact, or who have generated massive success and impact, don't feel so alone. So it's a peek behind the curtain a little bit, if you will, because I know that the top can feel lonely. So why don't we just start there? And talk about, you had said you never expected the top to feel so lonely. So let's just talk a little bit about that.
Thank you. So, and I love how your intro even says, we're not meant to do this alone. There's a reason why we're all on this planet together, right? So I just remember, well, let me just back up a little bit and say, I started this commercial security company over 10 years ago, and it was already lonely because I was one of the only female sales people. And also then as our company grew, I was the head of the sales department, right? And I'm a female in a commercial security company. I mean, I'm literally selling cameras and fire alarm systems and access control and doing all of the things and walking these sites, with general contractors and men. And so that's already feeling lonely. But, the first 3 years I really sucked at it. I made less than minimum wage until my accountant was like, you really suck at this. You could be making more money at McDonald's. So now's the time to either, close your doors, get a real paying job, or go out and make this profitable. And I was like, what the fetch do you think I've been doing? I've been trying to make this profitable. But that's at the point, that's when I knew I really needed to make a huge change in my life, because at the time I was on the verge of divorce. All we did was fight about money and time. I was struggling with mommy guilt because I barely spent time with my child. I was putting him in daycare, not even knowing if I could afford to pay the daycare bill. And my health, I just put it on the back burner. I just always thought, once I actually get this business off the ground, I'm going to start taking better care of my body. Well, that's a really bad strategy, y'all. So I got a coach who helped me hold me accountable to doing what it is I do best. And that's connecting with people, helping people solve problems. And it took a year and a half from that time to go from making less than minimum wage to breaking the 6-figure mark a year. I was like over the freaking moon. And then continued to work on myself and continue to work in my strengths. And within a year and a half, I was making 6 figures a month consistently in my business, and it continues to grow. And so I'm really, really, really grateful that what has come along the journey is, especially for me and where I'm living, I live in Idaho Falls, Idaho, and women here, there's a lot of women that choose to stay home. And I have so much respect for stay-at-home moms, because it is a freaking hard job. Like, I truly don't have the patience to stay home with my kids all day. Like, I'm a better mom when I'm working on what it is I'm super passionate about during the day, and then coming home to them and just like really relishing as a mother that time that I have with them. So right. I don't want to disrespect moms at all, but a lot of the women here are stay-at-home moms, And if they're working out of the home, it's like typically like a part-time job or something like that. But for me, I was working full-time in this business that I had started, and that was lonely enough. And then once you make that kind of money, when you have like big opportunities, big achievements, there's like, oh my gosh, who am I going to call? I want to celebrate with somebody. And of course I can celebrate my husband, but it's like you want this feminine energy, this love that only a girlfriend can give you, you know what I mean? But I had nobody, because I always thought, okay, well, I do have some friends at work, but at the same time, I don't want them to feel like I'm boasting and that they have to compare themselves to me, because that's not what this is about. And so that was a very, very lonely time for me.
That's so huge. The celebration piece, I have found that in my own life as well. And I have felt like to be able to actually, I actually have friends that I call brag buddies, to actually be able to look eye to eye with someone and feel their genuine excitement for you and what you've created is a valuable and precious commodity, right?
Oh, sister, tell me about it. It just feels so good when it's like, there's no comparison. It's just like, I see the amazing awesomeness in you, and I am so overjoyed for you. And when it's this reciprocating energy and this reciprocating love and support, it's like heaven on earth.
And that must be why you're so good at that. Like, you have such a way to, I have thought that many times, like, oh my gosh, Christine says the most lovely things and makes me feel so like, remember who I am and feel so good about myself. And that must be why you are that way, because you have known what it feels like to not feel like you can receive that, or that there isn't anyone there to, I've been thinking a lot lately about the crabs in the bucket. Do you know about the crabs in the bucket?
I think I've heard something like that, but I don't remember.
So when crabs get trapped in a bucket,
Uh-huh.
they can climb out. Like, they have, great little crawling things that they could even stack on top of each other and get out. But when one tries to climb out, all the other crabs grab at it and drag it down to the bottom.
Oh.
It feels like, isn't that what it feels like? Like, oh my gosh. So before you and I went live, we were talking about maybe kind of where you have come from when you were at the bottom of the bucket. How many different things people told you to never. And I think that for those of you watching, this is going to give you perspective to how far Christine has come. And I hope that you'll listen thinking like, then therefore what is possible for me. So yes. What are some of the things that they told you to never?
Oh, so many things. So they told me to never make friends. They told me to never talk about what I believe. They told me to never make plans. And in order for you to understand
thank you.
Why I needed to go back into my background. So my parents are refugees from the Vietnam War. I'm 100% Vietnamese. I was very blessed to be born here in the States, but my mom and dad both had generational trauma from, they were literally escaping the Vietnam War. And my mom was very, very blessed, and my dad was very blessed to be able to make it here to America and start their family here. But, back there, they were like, in Vietnam, they're like, okay, this is the time you got to go, because, the communists are going to take over, and we need somebody in our family to leave so that you guys can generate income in the US and send it home to our starving families. So they were able to escape. And it was such a huge accomplishment for them. And when I was 7 years old, I lived a pretty normal childhood up until I was 7. And my mom came home from work one day, and she told my dad, she said, I met a man who proclaims to be a prophet of God, and he is prophesying that the end of the world is coming in a few short months. So if you love me and you love the kids, you're going to help me sell this house, and we're going to follow the prophet. And my dad was like, no way, this is crazy. This is like Waco, Texas crap. But my mom was like, no, like God's giving us a chance to survive, just like he did when we escaped from Vietnam. And My dad didn't believe, and neither did my 4 older brothers. And so we went from a family of 8, so there were 6 kids, to a family of I was left with my mom and my little sister, so there's 3 of us, and then the boys, my 4 older brothers, went with my dad. So they stayed there, and we blindly followed the prophet to Pocatello, Idaho, the land of milk and honey. Surprising, right? And so I lived a life of extreme fear and manipulation. They taught me that I would never have the chance to graduate from high school, go to college, have a family or a career. So never planned for any of those things. I was supposed to die at a very young age. The first date they ever gave me was August of 1993. And I was like, wow, I could die before I turn 8, because I turned 8 in August. And I was like, I wonder if I'm going to die before I turn 8 or after I turn 8, you know? And it was just like, and then every time, you know, August of 1993 came and went, and we're like, we're looking at the prophet, like, what's going on? How come it didn't happen? He said, it's because you obeyed me so well. You did everything I told you to do. And so God spared you. And so just continue to do what I tell you to do. And it went on like that for 10 years. I lived in that cult for 10 years before I escaped.
I mean, I've heard you tell this story before, and I just am still so overcome with emotion, Christine. Like, do you see who you are? Like, I feel like to have gone through what you went through, and then to have created what you've created with a beautiful family and an amazing business. And thank you for taking a deep breath and like receiving that, because seriously, like, you
No,
know,
I
I
feel
feel great.
so blessed. I can't tell you how many blessings have been on the road along this journey. I am so very blessed, and that is why I feel, and it's, I don't know what, I don't want to even call it an obligation, because an obligation feels like it's something that is a burden to me. It is a blessing and an opportunity for me to share what it is that I know, and share my love and my support and my empowerment to women who need it, who are really looking to break through those limiting beliefs and those fears that people have imposed on you and that you have internalized in yourself, to really go back and embrace that past, to start that journey of healing their past, owning who they are in their present, so that they can create their most fulfilling future. It is such a blessing for me to be able to do that because of where I've been. So my pain has become my purpose.
It's so amazing. And I love, like, in one way that you and I really align, I think, is in this, you know, really claiming the reality that we can have whatever we want. Like, we can create our reality. And so, you know, your retreats are not just some little, like, you know, pay $1,000, barely get by at the retreat or whatever. It is like luxury on steroids, this retreat. I will be there one day.
I know you will. I know you will. Yes, I am. I'm just so excited. I want to be able to whisk women away from their everyday responsibilities, because we all have different roles that we play. And oftentimes we spend more time planning out a 1-week vacation than we do planning out our entire life. And also recalibrating, right? Even though some of us, you know, maybe the top 2% of us have actually planned out our life, but how often do we actually recalibrate? How often do we actually look at that life plan and say, you know what, does this still really align with who I am and the journey that I want to embark on? And if not, let me just adjust this according to what truly aligns with me, what truly aligns with my purpose, and how it is I can live it each day. So I'm just grateful. Yes, it is. It's transformational in every way, and I'm really grateful.
Do you and I'm just curious, and I always say, you know, share just as openly as you feel comfortable to, but do you find like that you have so a pattern that I've seen in myself and in a lot of clients is that once after we've been through such hard things, once we start generating a lot of success and like experiencing our ideal life, we get triggered Like, do you find that? And if you do, like, how do you navigate that? Because it's almost like the success and like stuff makes you even more afraid that it's going to get ripped all away or something like that.
It's a really interesting perspective. I don't know if that's exactly how it is I feel, but I definitely feel triggered when I see horrendous things happening in the world. And like, for example, Ukraine, what's happening in Ukraine right now is really tearing my heart apart. And I've never had a war we've been in multiple wars since I've been born, but this one really hits home to me. And I think it's because I have a higher level of understanding and a higher level of connection to humanity. And so this is really, I could either, and I knew that this would happen. The very morning that Russia invaded Ukraine, that very morning, I started feeling my light dimming. And I have gone through this route of feeling so much guilt for living a life that is so abundant, a life where I have so much freedom that I can be who I want to be, do what I want to do whenever I want to do it. And then it makes me feel like, who am I? Who am I to have been born in this country, have so much abundance, have amazing opportunities? Who am I? And that I have been triggered over and over by events like this. But I had to realize, I'm going to be sad. I'm going to allow myself to feel this deep grief. But the best thing that I can do for humanity, for Ukraine, for these people, is to shine my light so bright that I continue to be abundant, that I have these opportunities to provide drones, provide meals, help these orphans. I have the means to do this. In addition to that, I have the know-how to teach other women to create this level of abundance, to where instead of being triggered by guilt because you have more than other people, you get triggered by it to be so empowered to use what it is that you have to help other people. And that is incredibly gratifying. Like, it's incredibly fulfilling to know that I have the power to help people. I am not just a sitting duck. So I hope that answered the question.
Yeah. What I was thinking as you were saying that is your ancestors, like, I am sure you feel what you feel so deeply because of what your ancestors have been through.
Yes. Yes. What my mom's been through. I mean, my mom has just such an incredible story. And one day I'm going to write it in a book. But, she escaped the Vietnam War. She was 9 months pregnant at the time, because at the time people were making it to Vietnam or to America in 4 days. But that was if they had enough fuel, and they also had enough food, and they had a working compass. But they were at sea for 14 days because their compass broke. They ran out of fuel. They ran out of food. And they had 122 people on a 25-foot boat. Yeah. So it got to the point where they're at desperation, like, who's the first person going to die? And that person we need to eat in order to survive. My parents went through such horrendous, catastrophic experiences. And I've heard these things since I was a child. So I understand how wars ravage not only the human body, the human psyche and hope, and even the ability to feel joy, or feel like, if I'm feeling joy, am I worthy? And so, I've grown up with understanding and knowing how it is that war ravages people. And it is hard. That trigger is real.
Yeah.
To say, hey, how come I wasn't the first person in the family to be born, because my brother was born in Malaysia. They actually landed in Malaysia 14 days later. I mean, they're still in Asia. Is that not crazy? They never made it to the American continent.
Wow.
Yeah. So how come I wasn't born in Malaysia? I didn't have to go through all of the disease, the viruses that my brother had to go through. Instead, I was the 5th child, and they had already made it to America at that point. You know what I mean? Like, there's just all these things like, why am I worthy? Why was I chosen?
Yeah.
You know?
Wow. That makes so much sense to feel that. And then to be able to like, you know, to see the other perspective, to see that like, this is how you are the light. This is how you are. I even think like redeeming your ancestors in your family line and the ancestors that are no longer on the planet. I know I feel so much strength from my ancestors. Like, they are like, because as we heal like what's in us, it heals them in ways that they couldn't figure it out or couldn't heal themselves. So I just like, I felt that as you were saying all of that, Christine. Oh,
Thank
wow.
you. It is so powerful. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for all the experiences that I've had. And I'm grateful to be able to impart that and share that with women.
I think it's so beautiful how you open a retreat business, because it is like bringing your heart forward. Like, here you are running this very masculine business with a you know, in a male dominated industry and everything, and then to bring your heart forward and say, and I'm also going to host these amazing retreats.
Yes. But I also, although I own the commercial security company, I'm super grateful that my team, they run it all now. I actually stepped out of the business about 2 years ago, and now all I do is I get to see the books, which is so lovely. And I also do trainings with them. I do my strengths-based trainings with my team, but other than that, my time is spent on the retreats and coaching. So I do coaching and masterminds and retreats, and that's really my passion and my joy.
So cool. Okay, last question that I want to ask you, and I've asked everyone in this series this question, just because it helps us see you, know you a little bit deeper on a different level. What's one of the most fulfilling experiences you've had in your life?
Oh, God, that is really good. Okay, you did say one of the most fulfilling.
That's what everyone says. Yes.
One of the most, because there's been so many. I mean, I think I'll give 2. Because I was told that I would never have a child. I'd never graduate from high school, college, have a family, a career. I never planned for any of those things. So when the blessings came, when I did meet a man who I was so like, our values aligned, so compatible, like, yeah, I don't want to go another day without you in my life. And then 5 years later, we got pregnant with my first, and having that child in my arms, I felt so blessed, because I never ever thought that I would have that blessing of being a mother, having a child. And I'm in the process of breaking generational trauma, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But that has been one of my most fulfilling experiences. And then one of my last retreats, I just love gathering women in business, purpose-driven women, heart-centered women who are so aligned with being so empowering, uplifting, holding each other accountable to living a life that truly fulfills us. And when I see that, it's magic. I can't even describe it any better than it's magic when women combine to do that. And when we have a full week together in a tropical paradise, and we don't have all of these other worries and stresses, and we can truly dream together, it's a miracle, really. So those have been 2 of my most fulfilling experiences.
I love that. Okay. And you got to tell us as we wrap up about the like writing something and then the horseback riding to the waterfall thing. Tell us about that.
Okay, so the theme of the retreat is embracing your past and owning your present so that you can create your most fulfilling future. Because I am a firm believer that in order for us to create that most fulfilling future, we really do have to face the demons of our past. And so embracing is a choice. Okay. Healing takes time. And so, but the way that we do the embracing part on retreat is we do equine therapy. So some of the most magnificent horses in Costa Rica. And we have an equine therapist who actually walks us through this incredible transformational experience, because oftentimes us women who've kept our trauma inside for so long have never spoken to a human about it. And so it's really difficult to do that for the first time with another human. But to do it with a horse is just, it's so incredible, so much deeper than you can ever get a first time with a therapist. And then this horse takes us to this incredible waterfall. And this is really symbolic. We are literally washing away our wounds in this incredible paradise, this space, this water that is so cleansing, so healing, and we can start anew.
I just love that. That's the reason I will be there one day. Like, that is amazing, and I need to do that.
Thank you. I know. I'm so excited. And every person who experiences it is like, oh my gosh, this is so incredible. So yes, happy tears.
Christine, thank you so much for taking the time to share your heart with us and share your story with us. And I just know that the right people who hear your story will hear it.
Thank you.
So you guys, reach out to Christine if you're interested in her retreat, and if you're really interested, don't just tell her how much you want to go on a retreat. Right?
Yes. Yes.
And also, we are creating a community with the Chronicles of the High Powered Female CEO. So we'll put a link in the comments, but please go and register for all the interviews so that you never miss an interview when we go live together. And, so that you can continue to receive the validation and understanding and support, and even connect with other women who are on this show. And it's our intention actually to have our own retreat in October, where we're probably going to go to Mexico and have women get together without the walls and the barriers and the judgments, and just enjoy the amazing success and impact that we've created on the planet. So definitely stay in the loop there. And thank you again so much, Christine. Bye, everyone.
Bye.